Get out. You're making him feel awkward, she told me when her former boyfriend arrived at her birthday gathering. I simply agreed and walked away silently, gathered all her belongings, and had the locks replaced while she continued enjoying the festivities. She returned to find her possessions stacked in the corridor, along with a short message. Now no one's feeling awkward. Hello everyone watching. Before continuing with the story, remember to subscribe to the channel and tap the like button if you'd enjoy more content like this. If you have a personal experience you'd like to submit, feel free to send it my way. You'll find my details in the description. I'd be happy to include it in a future episode. Thank you. Posting anonymously, for clear reasons. This took place roughly a year back, but I've been reading here long enough to realize tales like this gain traction. Decided to post mine since, in retrospect, it's one of those accounts where the situation turns around in the most gratifying manner. I'm not seeking suggestions, simply sharing my experience and perhaps offering others assurance that justice sometimes prevails on its own. Get ready, it's detailed. My name's Jake, 29 currently, though 28 back then. I handle IT roles at a medium-scale firm in a moderately large town, not extravagant, but it covers expenses and allows some personal time. I've typically been the dependable sort, trustworthy, devoted, the person who follows through on commitments. That's the mindset I brought to my partnership with Sarah. We connected 3 years prior via shared acquaintances during a relaxed board game evening. She possessed an extroverted personality, humorous, the type who brightens any space. I found myself attracted to that vibrancy, and we connected rapidly. In half a year, we became official, and following 2 years, she relocated to my place. It seemed organic, as if we were creating a genuine future. Reflecting now, I invested heavily in our bond. Sarah worked as a freelance graphic artist from our home, with income fluctuating wildly, either abundant or scarce. I'd take care of the rent during slow periods, without any complaints. I managed the majority of expenses, prepared meals after exhausting shifts, and even assisted her in building connections by linking her with professional contacts from my field. Smaller gestures existed as well, such as when she faced a family crisis in her hometown. I traveled 6 hours in heavy downpour to collect her from the airport after her plane was late, ensuring she avoided a taxi in the early hours, or the occasion she desired an internet class to enhance her abilities. I covered the cost readily, despite it requiring me to cancel a planned outing with friends. I didn't track favors. Isn't that standard when you truly care for someone? I believed we functioned as partners. Yet signs of trouble emerged that I overlooked. Sarah mentioned her previous partner, Mike, far more frequently than seemed appropriate. They had been together for a few years prior to me, with a chaotic breakup, though she always described it as old news. Nevertheless, she'd reference him casually, for instance contrasting my stable employment with his exciting lifestyle as an independent photographer. Mike constantly pursued major opportunities, she'd remark with a wistful expression. I'd dismiss it, convincing myself it was harmless chatter. She occasionally shared vintage pictures online too, not blatant, yet sufficient to raise questions. Additionally, she began distancing herself emotionally over the recent months. Reduced intimacy, increased screen time, claims of workload pressure. I attributed it to her approaching birthday at 27, desiring a major celebration. Thus, as the devoted fool I acted, I dedicated myself to organizing it. The event originated from my suggestion, in fact. Sarah expressed interest in marking the occasion with pals, but procrastinated on arrangements. I took charge, booked additional sound equipment, arranged food delivery from her preferred restaurant, and adorned our residence with fairy lights and inflatables. I sent invitations to around 30 individuals, including close friends, her colleagues, and some from my side. Dedicated an entire weekend to preparations, and the evening prior, I presented her with a personalized cake featuring elements from her professional portfolio. "Jake, you're amazing," she remarked, embracing me firmly. Briefly, it resembled earlier days. I retired that night, convinced things were solid. The gathering began at about 8 p.m. on a Friday. Tunes playing loudly, guests interacting, beverages circulating. I acted as the gracious host, replenishing supplies, facilitating connections, making sure all enjoyed themselves. Sarah thrived in the spotlight, chatting animatedly with her close friends, capturing photos. I made eye contact occasionally, and she'd send an air kiss. Roughly an hour later, The intercom sounded. I answered the door, and Mike stood there. Lanky, unkempt facial hair, camera dangling from his neck as if prepared for assignment. He wasn't on my guest list. "Hi, buddy," he greeted with a grin. "Sarah told me to drop in." I managed a polite expression, admitted him, though my stomach nodded. Why no prior mention? I attempted to remain composed, remained in the kitchen preparing cocktails. However, as the evening progressed, I observed their interaction. Sarah and Mike, tucked in a nook, faces near, her touch on his limb as she chuckled at his remarks. Our companions glanced my way sympathetically, yet remained silent. I sensed alienation in my personal space. Ultimately, I approached casually to participate. "Hi, Mike, been a while." I commented lightly, placing an arm around Sarah's midsection. She tensed slightly, but noticeably. Mike fidgeted uneasily, evading my gaze. That's when matters intensified. Mike whispered to Sarah, altering her demeanor. She faced me, amid the crowd, and stated, "Jake, mind if we chat briefly?" She led me to the corridor, though not privately enough. Conversations were audible. "Listen, Mike's uneasy with you lingering nearby. You're causing him discomfort. This is my celebration. Perhaps provide some distance? Stay in the bedroom or similar until he's gone." I gazed at her, the statement striking deeply. "Huh, Sarah, this is our residence. I'm not lingering. It's where I reside." She sighed exasperatedly, with a condescending tone emerging. "Seriously, avoid the exaggeration. Mike and I share a past. We're merely reminiscing. You're displaying jealousy, ruining the atmosphere. No major issue. Simply relax elsewhere temporarily. It'll be all right. Past, you're favoring your former partner over me at an event I organized for you." She folded her arms, tone escalating. "Exactly, that's the problem. You're escalating unnecessarily. Mike feels awkward due to your staring like an envious partner. I asked him over as a pal, move past it. If that's too much, perhaps depart temporarily. Head out for a beverage nearby or something. The event's about me, not your pride." Her manner was belittling, treating me like an overreacting kid. Flawed reasoning throughout, faulting me for the strain she caused, defending her preference as my flaw. Nearby guests acted oblivious, yet tension was palpable. I sensed flush in my cheeks, bewilderment overwhelming. How did it reach this point? Yet I avoided shouting. No pleading, no disruption. I merely assented, voice constricted. "All right, Sarah, as you wish." I retrieved my coat, exited quietly. Festive noises diminished as I entered the lift. In my vehicle, I paused briefly, gazing blankly. Exposed wasn't adequate. I was devastated. Every concession, the faithfulness displayed, discarded as a nuisance. For her previous flame, during her celebration, the injustice stung, yet I proceeded to a local cafe, requested plain coffee, and remained seated. No messaging her. No contacting companions. Pure quiet, absorbing the truth. That instant clarified it. Our relationship ended. I stayed close that evening, merely visiting a modest eatery nearby, with vinyl seats and endless refills. I lingered for hours, sipping slowly, watching vapor ascend akin to our bond dissolving. My device notified a few times, party attendees inquiring, likely detecting oddity. "All good, bro?" One messaged. I sent a positive emoji, no elaboration. Sarah remained silent. Zero inquiries about my location or return. That absence conveyed much. It validated what I dismissed. I served as the reliable fallback, while Mike represented the excitement she craved. By late night, the gathering likely persisted, but I returned home. The place was vacant upon arrival. Attendees departed, illumination off, party debris strewn like taunting remnants. Discarded glasses, partially consumed dessert, sagging decorations. I remained in the main area, burden overwhelming. Bewilderment churned. How did my devotion lead here? I'd sacrificed time, funds, mental energy for what? To be marginalized at my arranged function? The wrongness eroded me, yet no destruction. No tears. I simply disconnected, shifting from couple to individual. Began in the sleeping area, retrieved her luggage from storage, those from our prior seaside vacation when harmony prevailed. Systematically, I organized her attire, included footwear, cosmetics, device accessories. No haste, no rage-driven chaos. It proved functional, nearly healing. Every object evoked a concession. The outfit I purchased for her professional occasion. Volumes she took from my collection without return. I contained her work materials from the workspace, including the wilting greenery she demanded. The message last. Basic sticky note atop the primary bag. Now no one's feeling awkward. Mirroring her phrase, sans arrogance. Pure statement. Followed by lock replacement. I contacted an emergency locksmith from the eatery. Cited safety concerns. He arrived around 1 a.m. Minimal inquiries past payment. As he operated, I updated services to solely my account. Simple digital adjustments, undramatic. By 2 a.m., her items positioned orderly in the exterior passage. I verified omissions, secured the entrance. Rested on the sofa that evening. Device muted. No dramatic reaction. No planned dispute. Her decision made. Mine as well. Following dawn, I rose promptly, sensing empty yet lucid. Temporarily restricted her contact, not vengefully, for personal breathing room. Reported illness to employment. Visited the fitness center after prolonged absence. Completed an intense session, aching yet centered. Later that day, joined a friend for caffeine, the texter. Shared essentials. No theatrics. She expelled me from my event for her prior guy. I stated plainly. He exhaled sharply. Man, that's harsh. Next steps? I lifted shoulders. Proceeding forward. No seeking guidance. No venting excessively. Merely embracing reality. Subsequent days merged. Immersed in professional tasks. Secured additional assignment for occupation. Initiated counseling. Virtual appointments. Basic, yet aided in processing disorientation. You experienced emotional neglect prior to the event, the counselor noted in session 2. It resonated. References to Mike. The withdrawal. I'd functioned as temporary. I maintained a journal somewhat. Personal entries, contemplating relinquished aspects, such as declining a career advancement requiring move, since Sarah opposed relocation, or evenings assisting her projects while she browsed feeds. Her quietude extended. No instant reaction, oddly more painful, as if I'd evaporated from her existence. After 7 days, I removed the block, solely due to shared contacts forwarding info. Sarah's panicking, one mentioned. Claims entry denied. I acknowledged. Shifted topic. Within, exposure diminished. No longer bewildered. Concluded. Implemented minor adjustments. Reorganized the residence. Acquired fresh bedding. Established nightly strolls. Sensed progression, from pain to stability. Companions observed. You appear freer, one noted during informal meetup. Indeed, the disloyalty was egregious. Unwarranted, yet processing quietly fostered strength. No vanishing. Remained locally, but mentally distant. Prepared for future, sans her. Around 2 months post, her situation clarified via networks. I avoided monitoring her profiles. Silenced notifications. Yet rumors circulated in common groups. Evidently, post-event, she stayed at Mike's. Reminiscing evolved to reunion. Rapidly intense. But Mike? Highly erratic. His thrilling photography role masked inconsistent employment and possessive outbursts. Acquaintances mention his explosions over trivialities. Message from male customer. Her approving vintage image of us. He'd claim exploitation. Then vanish days, causing her distress. Collapsed swiftly. Mike ended it following major argument. Regarding her attachment to history. Fitting irony. Terminated via message. Restricted all platforms. She attempted staying with a female friend. Soured upon details emerging. Her public shaming of me. Shared contacts withdrew gradually. Messages ignored. Gatherings ceased. Learned of the incident. Few confessed over drinks. Unjustifiable. Her independent projects failed also. Concentration lost amid turmoil. Timelines overlooked. Customers departing. Final indirect info. Residing on sibling's sofa. Surviving via temporary jobs. Standing damaged. Solitary. Financially strained. No longer central. Retribution required no assistance. Delivered independently. Reflecting her treatment of me. As secondary. I avoided triumphing. No pursuing details. Yet hearing bits felt fair. Her prior arrogance vanished. Substituted by outcomes of decisions. Pleasing subtly. The decline prompted Sarah's return attempts soon. Started roughly 3 months later. As her circumstances bottomed. Initially, a message. Device alerted during solo meal preparation. Jake, let's discuss. This is absurd. Allow me to retrieve my items minimum. Zero remorse. Pure expectation. As if I'd exaggerated. No reply from me. Next day, follow-up. Really? Silent treatment? Despite all. Continued quiet. Then phone rings began. Messages accumulating. Heard initial from interest. Jake, answer. Aware you're listening. Mike proved error, all right? He raged irrationally. Evicted me. At sisters currently. Terrible. Our connection was solid. Can't discard thus. Respond. Tone wavered slightly. Yet control evident. Shifting blame to me. Downplaying disloyalty. Removed, restricted anew. She intensified. Borrowed acquaintance's device subsequently. Surprising me mid-meal at job. Jake? Sarah here. Avoid ending call. I halted, utensil paused. Your purpose? At last. Apologies for the gathering. Intoxicated. Overwhelmed. Mike arrived, situation odd. Yet your iciness. We cohabited a year. Merit discussion minimum. Visit possible? For dialogue. The double standard irritated. Negative, Sarah. Your decision that evening. Favoring prior partner. Expelling me from residence. Finished. Not accurate. Your jealousy displayed. Causing discomfort broadly. Required distance. Mike departed now. Proved toxic, domineering. Recognize that. Possible fresh start. Begging. Flawed reasoning repeated. Attributing to my envy, while noting Mike's issues. Manner turned begging to urgent. Jake, financially struggling. Projects halted from chaos. Companions silent. View me negatively. Yet your knowledge deeper. Please, repair this. Remained composed. Tone steady. Farewell, Sarah. Terminated. Restricted that contact too. Persistence continued. Enlisted relatives next. Predictably troublesome. Sibling phone days later. Tone accusatory. Jake, Emily speaking. Sarah's wrecked due to your actions. Her version shared. Appears major overreaction. Evicting. Lock switch. Unkind. She's kin. Step up. Converse. Offer retry. Lesson absorbed. Emily, unrelated to you. Sarah shamed me openly. Uninterested. Nonsense. Bonds fluctuate. Merely penalizing. Egotistical my view. Disconnected. Disagreeable. Insistent. Mirroring Sarah's assumed rights familial. Efforts climaxed via unannounced appearance. Home Saturday. Exercising. Intercom activated. Via speaker. Jake me. Allow entry. Must resolve. Denied access. Lingered exterior hour, per building staff. Slid paper beneath entrance. Behavior ridiculous. Cruel. Expected higher from you. Fury emerging. Genuine nature revealed. From begging to anger upon resistance. Acquaintances involved additionally. One shared contact messaged. Hi. Sarah requested contact. Deeply regretful, dude. Believes reconciliation viable. Responded courteously. Thanks, however decline. Pursuits diminished thereafter. Yet every effort solidified my separation. Unaffected. Her urgency, her burden. Peak occurred at shared pal Tom's celebration. Roughly half year after event. Relaxed venue downtown. Positive atmosphere. Invited beforehand. Assumed manageable. Entered alongside Lisa, colleague acquaintance recent months. Early stages. Yet compassionate. Stable. Humored me sans turmoil. Seated at elevated spot. Conversing group. Until Sarah materialized. Untidy. Locks disarrayed. Eyes swollen. Recent weeping likely. Solo. Sipping beverage counter. Noticed me. Approached cautiously. Tone unsteady. Jake, hi? Unanticipated presence. Private discussion. Assembly silenced. Remained seated, composed. Sarah. Your point? Gaze shifted to Lisa. Returned. Identity. Regardless, major error. Mike catastrophe. Exploited, abandoned. Solitary now, barely managing. Your sight here. Realizes loss. Our bond positive. Another opportunity? Begging. Moisture forming. Fingers fidgeting. Yet I experienced no. No pity, no attraction. Pure resolution. Sarah. You claimed I caused his discomfort. Thus I departed. Provided distance. Currently. You're causing mine. That phase concluded. She stared. Phrase reflected directly. Yet. Not intended thus. Please, Jake. Shared past. Past you favored over present. Reality, progressed. Constructed improved existence. Advancement professionally. Fresh habits. Individuals appreciating me. Gestured to Lisa, beaming encouragingly. You're extraneous now. Best wishes. Cease contact. Expression collapsed. Double standard revealed. Dynamics reversed. Whispered threat softly. Regret impending. Departed abruptly. Venue relaxed. Companions praised later. Masterfully managed. Concluded there. Full emotional liberty achieved. No lingering disorientation. Pure tranquility. Existence flourishing absent her influence. If facing comparable, community. Separate. Restore. Justice manages remainder. Latest. Year later, engaged to Lisa. Sarah? Reports indicate ongoing difficulties. Yet no longer relevant to me. Appreciate viewing. Subscribe channel, like please. Opinions on this account? Comment below.